Yo, what up? My name is Don, and today we're going to be talking about the idea of creating value for yourself and others, not only for growing your brand, but for connecting with other brands as well. So, with that being said, let's hop right in. Okay, so a little bit of a backstory. If you don't know, I am a streamer, and I've been a streamer for a very long time, over 15 years now. And in fact, I went back to my old Facebook page and saw some old memories of pictures and videos I posted from like 2015 and before. So I've been around for a while, and on top of that, I'm also a photographer, videographer, and a creative in other ways. I'm a musician. I play guitar. You can see the guitars back there behind me. And I've also skateboarded for a very long time. I don't skateboard anymore, but I skateboarded for 16 years. And so I just want to use all of these things in my background and my experience to talk about the idea of creating value for yourself and using that value to appeal to others. In this case, specifically talking about hooking up with brands. So I'm going to I'm going to talk about this through the lens of being a content creator and or streamer. And I find that because I've been doing this so long, I have some sort of insight that maybe will help out streamers or people who are looking at the idea of getting into streaming, or people who may have done it for 1 or 2 years but are still pretty new to the space, from my perspective at least. And one of those things is creating value for yourself. A lot of people feel like, and I'm going to touch on a bunch of different things. And I think that the main idea that all of these things kind of branch into is the idea of multi-streaming. Lately, I've seen and read a lot of commentary, on Twitter, etc., about people talking about multi-streaming and not being tied to a platform, and just this idea that you have to be more in control of your brand, your platform, instead of just being tied to, in this case, a specific platform and hoping that they can take care of everything for you. Um, creating value for yourself. Um, from the streamer perspective, and I've talked about this before, a lot of people want to do the obvious thing, which is to get subs. And we'll discuss how this is, it'll flip into how you create value for yourself. But a lot of people want to stream and they don't understand that, as soon as you flip that switch, when it goes from being a hobby that you kind of, don't care about so much. You might still care about it, it's still fun for you, but you don't care about it to the level where you want it to progress. You want it to like progress in a way that's like something you can build off of. So once you flip that switch where you go from hobby and it's kind of like nonchalant, kind of relaxed mode about it, into you're trying to grow this as a part of your life, aka a business, something that you can depend on in some sort of sense. That's when you have to start thinking of other ways to create value rather than just hoping that your audience, subs to you and more people sub to you. And, one way to create value is to lean into things that you are naturally creative at. So before I was a photographer, videographer, I was a skateboarder. And I think back, uh, now I think back, and if I was I mean, I was a skateboarder and I was definitely trying to get, as a kid, I always dreamed about being sponsored by skateboard companies. At the time, I didn't know how to make content. So I didn't know how to basically market myself. And nobody around me kind of latched onto the idea that I was a really good skateboarder. Maybe we should do something with this dude. I did meet people throughout my teens and stuff like that that tried to progress me, but it's basically levels. You know what I mean? You have to build connections and basically go from one connection to the next as you're upgrading uh through whatever space that you're trying to evolve in. And that's not to say that you're using people, but you do have to build connections and kind of like branch out and meet new people and, forge new relationships and build new success from there. And so if I was still skateboarding, what I would do is definitely use something that I'm good at to try and make some sort of content around that. Nowadays, with the advent of, I mean, Instagram's been around for a while now and TikTok's been around for a while now, but TikTok's absolutely younger than Instagram is. And with TikTok, and even with YouTube now, there's all sorts of amazing free editing tools that you don't have to know anything about actual nonlinear editors. What that is programs like Adobe Premiere, or whatever programs that Mac users may use. Final Cut, I think that's what they use, Final Cut Pro, right? to edit your videos. You don't have to know any of that. So the barrier of entry to create value for yourself has never been lower. And that value creating that you're creating for yourself, your reach now, and I mean the reach has been there for a while, but the reach is worldwide, and the ability to just um kind of, really show yourself in the best light possible has essentially never been easier. All you need is a phone, you know? When I was a kid, we had cell phones, but they definitely weren't, shooting 1080p video and like 4K video. My phone can shoot 4K video, you know what I mean? So if I was stuck with nothing else, I could literally do all of my content, all of my YouTube content, my live stream content. There's people I know that use phones or even older phones for the live stream content because honestly, a lot of people watch in 720p. It depends on where they are in the world. And yes, I know that high speed is becoming more prevalent, but still, there are a lot of people who watch on 720p just because 1080p, 60 frames per second is too much bandwidth for their connection, and they end up lagging. So back to the whole creating value for yourself, you have to lean into the things that you have a natural knack at, and there's a market for essentially everybody. You no longer have to depend entirely on brands. And like I was a kid, when I was skateboarding as a kid, you no longer have to entirely depend on brands to um, be the reason you succeed. Of course, speaking myself now, I have 3 brand sponsors, and I'm very thankful for them. But if I had no brand sponsors, it wouldn't be the yes or no. It wouldn't be the decider to my success. For example, you know, I always try to highlight how awesome when I talk about YouTube. I always try to highlight how awesome it is because of the way it works in essentially being a snowball. And as long as you keep consistent, you will keep growing. And Facebook is my biggest platform now with over 6,200 followers. We just hit 6,200 just the other day. So we're working on 6,300 followers, and I want to push this to, my goal right now is 10,000 and beyond. And you can believe me, believe you me. When this channel gets to 10,000 subscribers, 50,000 subscribers, 100,000 subscribers, that opens up opportunities for me that um, I don't have to go out seeking brands. I will still go out seeking brands. And to be completely honest and to be completely transparent, I did go out and seek the 3 brands that I work with. I, was you have to put yourself out there. Never cut yourself short. And I honestly need to take my own advice. You only get one shot at life, right? And so if you don't put yourself out there, if you don't or if you're not your number one fan and you're not cheering yourself on from the inside as you throw your pitch out there, you do your audition or whatever it is, when it's your moment, you got to own that moment, right? So, and never think that, especially in the content creation world, and this absolutely probably extends to real life too. But I just, my world is the online content creation world. So, um, sometimes it takes more than one attempt to get through the door. It's not because you don't have value. It's just because, maybe at that time the people who you're trying to prove your value to didn't see your value, or maybe it's just the wrong, there's plenty of opportunities that are the same. There's not only one audition, there's not only one brand sponsor, there's not only, one contract deal. There are multiple opportunities like that. And so, if one doesn't work out, don't think that all of a sudden that you have no value or you're useless. Um, it'll just show you what you should take from that is what didn't work out and what do you want. Like every time that something doesn't work out, it will make your vision clearer on what you do want, right? So it just makes it easier to find those brands that you do want to work with. And so the YouTube thing, the streaming thing, in streaming specifically, it's basically the same thing. Streaming has always been a little bit of a niche thing to build. And I say that because, yes, the streaming world is very big, but to have an audience based around what you do, especially if you're not playing some of the biggest games, um, you have to essentially, it's almost like you replace their daily television, right? So it's essentially that you're a show, and if you are improving your show, very naturally you will attract more people, again, you have to put yourself out there. So the live part is the show, but you have to put content out there, right? You have to put content out there for people to see on other platforms, and that's always been like the catch with live streaming. Unfortunately, live streaming platforms themselves don't. Twitch is getting better at it, but they don't really have the best ways to see a streamer or to see a content creator outside the hours of when they're streaming. And because obviously people are all over the world and schedules don't always align, you can't just it's not, you're not only online to your local market that are within the same time zone, you're live to everybody. So anybody can check you out at any given time. And because of that, you need to again put yourself out there or they're not going to see you. So you know, if you want to create that value for yourself in the live streaming space, you have to do the work to create that value that people can access at any time. You have to create that library of content that people can access at any time over on your YouTube or your TikTok, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And you know, just to pull the power more into the hands of the creator, um, there's never been a better time to use platforms. And again, like I said at the beginning, multi-streaming, to use platforms like TikTok and YouTube and Twitter now, because Elon Musk has been making a little bit of a hubbub over on Twitter about live streaming um, being something that they want to focus on, being something that they want to make better. Personally, the live stream experience over on Twitter is not very good. But again, Twitter is a giant platform, and you know, why wouldn't you want the possibility for somebody to come in and really celebrate your stream, right? So, you know, the opportunity, um, there's only a benefit. Like there's no negative, there's no detraction from multi-streaming, especially with, and I'm going to use a specific example here. Kick, the platform Kick. I do multi-stream there as well. They came around about we're approaching 2 years now. You can actually there's a website that you can check when your account's made. And I believe my account said a year and 8 months. So we are approaching the last quarter leading up to 2 years of the site's release. And one of their things was to kind of secure a bunch of creators by offering them um, I wouldn't say contracts. Not every creator got a contract, obviously, but kind of like this initial step, which is the Kick Creator Incentive Program, which essentially says that you can make money streaming hourly on our platform. The more viewers and the more chatters, the more engagement. Basically, they have certain metrics, and the more engagement that happens on your stream, the higher your hourly wage is going to be. But lately, I'm seeing a lot of those creators. I'm seeing a lot of talk about from creators in that situation, talk about how they would prefer to multi-stream because when you think about it, if you already have a platform, and here's how it works: if you already have a platform of, I always say this, it starts at about 50 to 100 people. That is enough to get you, if you're smart about when you stream, 50 to 100 viewers is enough to keep that snowball rolling, but it is hard to get the wheels. It's like you've got a super, you know, powerful car and you're just spinning those wheels, first and second are spinning until you get it to hook and third. But once you do get it to hook and third is 50 viewers to 100 viewers concurrently, then I really think the show takes off, and all you have to do at that point is stay consistent and you are set. You are absolutely set. At that point, you can use your audience, not in a negative way, but you can, just like the way that online entrepreneurs would tell you to, you know, make a newsletter, collect emails. Basically, you want a way to market to your audience because you are effectively a business at this point, right? And when you understand to do all these things, you no longer have to be just the content creator that's still looking for, brands to do UGC content for, which, by the way, is still a way to make value for yourself because in regards to UGC content, you still are able to negotiate the terms of that UGC content. So you know, um, you're not just kind of locked into something that feels soul sucking while a sponsor or something owns you per se. It does have to be an amicable relationship, right? When it gets to that point. But before that point, I just want to stress that you really do not need, first and foremost, these other business connections to make any success for yourself. There's more than enough water to drink from. You just have to, you just have to find it. And um, on top of using TikTok, YouTube, and these other platforms to build your audience, then you can, like I said, use your audience and monetize them through things like making merch. So if you have a T-shirt shop, well, again, this has nothing to do with brands. You can do it completely yourself. If you are an artist, you can lean into drawing your own designs. There's all sorts of websites out there to create value for yourself. There is Patreon. If, for example, my girlfriend had this idea the other day where some of my talking videos I could release as audio content. So this is something that other people could do. If people don't have the time to watch your content, they might have the time to listen to your content. And it does take effort to make content. So if you are providing value, which I hope that I'm doing from my experience, being in this space for quite a while, then that's another way to monetize your audience and again create value for yourself. Once you get better at these things, you can, extend your skills to now making content for brands. Like I said, you got to put yourself out there. You got to reach out more than one time. And one example is that the brand Juvie, they make energy drinks, and they're based in the States. I made a little commercial video for them that you can find on my channel by just searching Epic Commercial or just type in commercial in the search on my channel and it'll pop up for you. I made that just because I love the brand. And, they saw it, they retweeted it, and it got thousands of views. So that did a wonderful job at, um, you know, bringing a lot of eyes to me and putting me, basically, I put myself in the limelight, right? Juvie never asked me to do anything for them. I never asked them for a brand sponsorship. I literally just provided the value. Here's the content. Here's the value that I'm putting up on the table. And they said, "Wow, that's awesome," and they retweeted it and therefore I got a lot of positive feedback from that. So eh, no matter what, you got to put in the work, and when you are putting in the work to fill your own cup, others will take note of that, and they will then want to also pour into your cup until it's overflowing. And once you are at a point of abundance, I mean, you've made it, right? That's the I think that is the feeling of fulfillment that most of us are chasing. And there doesn't have to be mystery around it. There doesn't have to be all this curiosity about, it doesn't have to be like shrouded in mystery and all that stuff. I think that it's can be confusing because the process is quite a long one. And because it's quite a long one, if you're a person that likes to visualize things, or if you're a person that likes to, I don't know, have a bit of control of your future, or just like, you know, eh, it's the process is so long that you can't visualize that far. It just gets hazy and gray, and you know what I mean? So you really just have to dig into the process itself. And like I've said in other videos, once you do love the process, the value that you can provide to others, and the value that not only they get out of it, but you get out of it, is going to increase tenfold. So hopefully you got some value out of this video. And if you have any thoughts, please share them down in the comments down below. And as always, please like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one.